Our top story of the hour. The TMC national spokesperson Saket Gokhale has been rearrested just hours after he got bail. Now, Gokhale, of course, was arrested on Tuesday over an alleged fake tweet on Prime Minister Modi's visit post the Morbi bridge collapse. However, he has now been held again and taken to Morbi. Now, TMC MP Derek O'Brien alleged that he was arrested without any notice or warrant while leaving the police station in Ahmedabad. Now, in fact, the TMC has rushed a 5-member delegation to Morbi.
The idea is to keep filing FIRs in allegedly the same matter, keep detaining, keep arresting a person. They can very well issue a notice. The court has given me bail today. Despite that, they want to arrest me again in a Morbi-related matter. So the idea here is that to keep the person into prison as long as they can, despite the honorable court having given bail today. This is what the Bharatiya Janata Party is now doing. The idea is to teach a lesson. I'm a cardiac patient, and the idea here is to try and make sure that you finish me in whichever way possible.
I also have my colleague Adrija, who's been tracking the story for us. Adrija, good morning. We also heard that reaction that has come in from Saket Gokhale as well, where of course he's saying that it is a political vendetta by the BJP. But what are you hearing in terms of this other particular case that he has been rearrested in?
Well, so he has last night, after getting bail from Ahmedabad police station, he was rearrested and then taken near the Morbi bridge, regarding which he has tweeted earlier, and regarding which initially he was arrested for spreading fake news and tweeting about the Morbi bridge incident that has taken place, and how he has also written about the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rally, which
all right,
was affected.
Adrija, I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Please stay with us. I also have Majid Memon of Saket Gokhale's lawyer, in fact, joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Memon, appreciate you taking the time out and talking to us on Mirror now. Of course, we've seen your client's reaction as well, but let's talk about the fact that what has happened in this particular case. Is this normal? Because on one hand, we did see that he was granted bail in that particular case involving the tweet, but he's been rearrested. So currently, where does it stand right now, if you could talk to us?
Well, yesterday, after a detailed hearing from both sides, the Honorable Court was pleased to release him on bail, and for various offences that were alleged under the penal code. Some of them were non-bailable offences, therefore he had to remain in custody for 2 or 3 days. But then once he has been released for an alleged act, which according to the state, according to Gujarat police, was a criminal offence, then he could not have been arrested for the same act second time, which is violation of his constitutional right. And in legal jargon, it's called dual jeopardy. And secondly, Section 125 of Representation Act, People's Representation Act, is a bailable offence where the officers could have simply asked him to execute a bond instead of physically dragging him from one release to another police station and arresting him. This is indicative of some vindictive approach, which is unfair and improper. And I think Gujarat police would do well by not acting in the manner which would so very obviously appear to be a prejudiced action. And in fact, what he did has been explained to the court as far as the tweet was concerned, that he has only repeated what he found in social media. And according to Section 79 of the Information Technology Act, which the learned judge read, the initiator is to be held responsible, not the facilitator. And the role of Gokhale was that of a facilitator. And therefore, there was no offense as such at all. He deserved to be discharged. Well, of course, that would be argued legally at a later stage, but he was therefore enlarged on bail yesterday. But thereafter, in a very vindictive manner, police rushed and then said that you have spread hatred, etc. You are liable to be prosecuted for. This is very, very sad, very unfortunate. I think this is nothing but abuse of police power to arrest.
Mr. Memon, as you're pointing out, stating that it is a vindictive approach as well and abuse of police power. Talk to us about the front that, he was arrested about this particular tweet. Is it normal in the case that you have, of course, in your legal career that you have seen? We've also seen the challenge of also combating fake news narratives. But in terms of how he was also arrested, on the other hand, we'd also seen that Derek O'Brien had stated that in the second case, of course, he was not even issued a warrant.
Absolutely. He ought to have been issued a notice. Firstly, they should not have taken cognizance. They are violating the constitutional principles. They are violating the right to personal liberty of a citizen. They are doing something which is contrary to law prima facie. And if they do that also, they ought to have issued a notice. And then instead, physically, they drag him from one end to another, only to humiliate him further, which is absolute abuse of authority.
Also, could you talk to us about what kind of charges the police have made in the new FIR that has come out, Mr. Menon?
The second FIR may not be significant, but the first FIR also, people must understand, and I want your viewers to have a very impartial look at the whole exercise. The allegation in the tweet is that when Morbi bridge fell, 135 innocent people lost their lives, and therefore every conscientious citizen was paid, was the issue, and therefore he has tried that well. People have lost lives, and media was also from the time the accident occurred.
All right, Mr. Majid Memon, we appreciate you talking to us on Mirror Now. Thank you for giving us your, of course, latest inputs on the fact that Saket Gokhale has been rearrested. In fact, Majid Memon reacting over there to Mirror Now, saying that, he is being, of course, dragged from one police station to another. It is a vindictive approach and it's obviously a prejudiced action. But tracking the particular story, we also have some breaking news coming in. In fact, TMC MP and Bengal Chief Minister's nephew, Abhishek Banerjee, has condemned the arrest of Saket Gokhale. Now, in a tweet, Banerjee said that the EC is completely surrendered, continuously acting as a subservient of the BJP. So that's the latest reaction coming in from Abhishek Banerjee, who, of course, is the Bengal Chief Minister's nephew as well as TMC MP. In fact, condemning Saket Gokhale's rearrest. Now, remember, he was granted bail in that first particular case, but like Derek O'Brien had also pointed out, that without any sort of a warrant, he was rearrested in another case. Now, Majid Memon, who is, of course, representing Saket Gokhale, just spoke to us a couple of minutes ago, talking about the fact that Saket, of course, deserves to be discharged and COP should have issued a notice, and also going on to state that it is a violation of citizens' rights. But this is the latest reaction that's coming in terms of Abhishek Banerjee having spoken about Saket Gokhale's arrest. In fact, you can see those pictures as well on your screens. After the fact that Saket Gokhale was arrested in this particular case, where he had gone on to tweet about Prime Minister Modi's visit to Morbi. All right, we also have guests joining us on the broadcast, Dr. Shatrupa, the BJP spokesperson, as well as Chaudhary, political analyst, and Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC, joining on the broadcast. I appreciate all of you talking to us. Let me first come to Mr. Chaudhary. Chaudhary, how do you actually see this with the fact that, of course, this arrest has happened, rearrest in the second case. The first case, of course, he got bail. On the other hand, even Majid Menon, his representative, his lawyer, in fact, has gone on to say that it is a violation of citizen rights.
Well, very good morning. Basically, what I can say from the entire episode that's happening over the last few days, basically, as we all know, from an electoral democracy, we have become an electoral autocracy, and our path to the monarchy system of governance from the democratic setup is almost on the way. So the BJP will always like to punish all those people, those are critical about them and their leaders. But then the question remains that how long? Are the laws of this land so subversive to the ruling party that nobody dares raise a question? Saket Gokhale is a dear friend of mine. We have been doing politics over the last few years together. I know him very well. He's an RTI activist of the #1 grade. He has ruffled a lot of feathers in the establishment. And that's the only reason that I can see here, that the ruling establishment is trying to harass him by filing multiple cases one after the other. But then this has to stop. We have seen instances of how Mohammed Zubair was arrested on one case to the other case and ultimately got bail. There are hundreds of instances like that when the ruling establishment has tried to subdue or try to suppress voices of dissent and people who are asking questions critical of the government. Then again, I say, ma'am, this is an electoral democracy, not an electoral autocracy. Hope good sense prevails and Saket comes out of the jail once again. But we have full faith in our judiciary and the legal setup that ultimately he will be free.
Right. Mr. Chaudhary, stay with us. I'll take that question across to Riju Datta. Riju, thank you for joining us on the broadcast as well. How do you see this panning out? Because politically speaking, of course, Saket Gokhale, we had also heard him, talk about the fact that this is a political vendetta. We also hear that your party has sent a 5-member team, delegation, in fact, to Morbi as well to take stock of the situation. What is your initial reaction about whatever has transpired in the past couple of hours?
I think especially after the thumping victory and the record 7th time win in Gujarat elections by a major landslide, and it's a record victory, the attitude of the Gujarat police towards opposition political parties by using illegal use of power, by using these cheap scare tactics, is the lowest of low of political vendetta. Can you imagine, after the victory they have had, Saket is arrested twice in a span of 3 days, and that too in the model of code of conduct still being in place. This is unbelievable. It is shocking. The Election Commission has completely surrendered to the BJP. It has become a BJP stooge. The democracy is in shambles. What is happening? It is not a matter of Saket Gokhale anymore. He has just, and the technical part is, according to the IT law, the initiator who will initiate a tweet which can cause hate or disharmony or spread violence in the society, the law can take action on him. But he is not the initiator. He's a felicitator. He retweeted the tweet.
Right.
Okay. Still then you have arrested him. I understand that. After that, a court of law has granted him bail. Why do you arrest him again without a warrant on the same charges that he has already got bail for? The Gujarat police has lost their head completely in this power game. And they have just been ordered by the bosses to harass TMC and TMC spokesperson to teach him a lesson, and they're just following it blindly, giving 2 hoots to the book of the law as well. This cannot go on. This is a shame to the democracy. This is absolutely shameful to the Election Commission, and this is a glaring evidence of the political vendetta of BJP and their mindset. What they want in this country, they want a fascist government. They want to suppress every voice of dissent in this country, and they want to choke all the opposition so they can have the ruling disposition for the next 50 years. But that does not work like that. Any common person with a common sense in this country, whatever BJP and Gujarat police is doing with Saket Gokhale, will condemn it, and will not only condemn it, will be shocked of what is happening in this particular case. It is shocking. It's shocking. Shocking.
Mr. Datta, appreciate you giving us your reaction, but please stay with us on for a couple of minutes. I'm going to take that same point across to Dr. Shatrupa, BJP spokesperson, joining us on the broadcast. What is your initial reaction about the fact that we've also seen Mr. Riju Datta point out the fact that how, the EC has also become a stooge of the BJP?
No, that's what they keep saying. I mean, it's first of all, they mess up. They make the cardinal mistake of quoting wrong facts and data about the Prime Minister of India. And then they say that, why did you arrest us? And then they go on saying all this nonsense about we controlling the EC and Gujarat police celebrating the victory. I don't know what sort of illogical conversation Riju Datta keeps making. But as far as BJP is concerned, under no circumstances can any spokesperson of any party quote facts and figures which are entirely wrong and imaginary, fictitious about the Prime Minister of India. You cannot do that. When you are a national spokesperson of any party, whether you pretend to be national or you're actually national, you have no right to comment, make up your own fairy tales about the Prime Minister of India. Before you say even a word on national television, all of us, cutting across all parties, need to have our facts and figures straight. Yes, I do not know about the arrest, but definitely if you're going to misquote facts and figures about the Prime Minister of India, there is no other option. You should be prepared to face the worst possible kind of punishment. I have no idea why after bail Saket got arrested again. That is something the Gujarat police will be able to answer. But as far as I am concerned, in principle, once again, I am repeating this. Under no circumstances can you misquote or tell tales about or make fairy tales about the Honorable Prime Minister of India. And I'm not just saying it because he is our Neta. The Honorable Prime Minister of India is the Prime Minister of possibly the largest democracy of the world. You cannot, under any circumstances, just get hold of imaginary figures and rant it off on any kind of social media or even on national television for that matter. So I think what has happened to Saket should be an example for the other spokespersons who think they can get away by talking nonsense about national leaders, especially the Prime Minister of India.
All right, we'll leave it at that for the moment. But thank you, Shatrupa from the BJP spokesperson, of course, Mr. Chowdhury, political analyst, as well as Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC, joining us on the broadcast. Appreciate you, all of you, talking to us right here on Mirror now.